back. Welcome back to another exclusive edition of More to Live For. Got another special exclusive interview for you, man. Anybody new to the channel, definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button, man, and definitely like this video. Feel free to comment on it. Got another special one for you, man. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, man. We're gonna get right to it. How you doing tonight, my man?
I'm good. I'm good. For the audience, I'm Mr. Sheldon Perryman from Clarksdale, Mississippi, and it's an honor to be a guest on this show. And I'm ready to get started. When you are.
Okay, definitely, man. I definitely appreciate you. You know what I mean, for doing this, for taking time out and doing this, man. As you're aware, man, like I said, in the conversation that we have over here on this channel, I often interview a lot of people that did time and people that's still in prison. I've been fortunate to make that happen as well. So that's kind of, you know what I mean, how our paths kind of crossed or whatever. So, and from the people that I've been in communications with, they definitely telling me that, you know, you definitely got a hell of a story, and it's definitely, you know what I mean, inspiring and motivation to those that's still down. So if you could, OG, the floor is yours.
Well, like I say, my incarceration bid started at 16. I served a 2-year sentence for an aggravated assault charge. And, I remember serving time, at a young age. You really don't, grasp the seriousness of it. You kind of, it's kind of like a experience growth spell, right? And in my first 2 years I did, man, I kind of like ran through it. You understand what I'm saying? So it just was like a tap on the shoulder. You understand?
Right.
Okay. I was released when I was 18, and I remember a guy asking me when I walked out the door. He say, that they call me juvenile. He said, "Say, right, juvenile, you coming back?" And when I looked at him, you know what I'm saying, my answer was, I don't know. You understood? I'm 18, I don't know. Well, I was released when I was 18, and I stayed out 6 months. At the age of 19, I caught 4 more aggravated assault charges. And I was sentenced to 28 mandatory years. And now this bid right here was 4 more different. Like I said, I went in at 19, but I had to kind of jump because I already knew now what I was going into. You understand?
Right.
So that was kind of like, you know what I'm saying, I kind of like prepared me. But at the age of 19, when a judge telling you finna do 28 years of your life in prison, you can't grasp mentally. That's not, you can't grasp that. You can't, you understand what I'm saying? You can't embrace that because you can't see 20 years when you're 19, 28 years when you're 19. Is the world gonna end? I don't know. But
right.
I went in, man, and like I say, I went in on a different guidance, man. I was getting around guys who really was fighting to get out. You understand what I'm saying? And when you got guys fighting to get out, when you come in, they want to hype why you fighting to get in. You understand? You got guys fighting to get in the prison system. You got guys fighting to get out. But like I said, I had guys who seen that I always would listen. That's one thing. I would listen. I might not apply the advice, but I would listen. And I had guys talk to me about the law, ask me what I knew about the law. Did I want to learn about the law? And during that during that time, man, God gave me law work and this and that. But as I say, I'm still young, so I'm not
Right.
really just focusing in on it. I'm taking it in like a sponge, though. I'm absorbing everything, but I'm still not applying it. You understand?
Right.
So, so like I say, this bid here, man, it really, it really started to set in once I got around. I say 20, probably about 25, and I'm realizing now, man, some got to change. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So now, what kept me, what kept me really like focused during that time, my thing was working out. You understand? That was
Right.
my piece. So I love to work out. I love to help guys get in shape. You know what I'm saying? That was because that was my piece from the madness. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I
Yeah.
get in my little zone. You know what I'm saying? I will work out, and you know that will bring me peace. And like I was saying, at 25, man, that's when I lost my mom. So so
Sorry.
that
Yeah.
was like so that was like a mental turning point. You understand what I'm saying? You have siblings, but ain't nobody like mom. You understand
Right.
what I'm saying? So your siblings, they'll tell you things, and but now they got a life to live themselves.
Yeah.
So that was really like a turning point for me, man. That was when I really started to focus on my situation. You understand?
Right.
I really began to say, well, let me look into some of these things that I absorbed over the years. I had them like in the file cabinet. Let me look into this now, cause I may actually see something that may actually apply to my situation. You understand? And
Exactly.
maybe I can find a loophole.
Exactly. Exactly. Not to cut you off, OG. But I think that's definitely a good segue, man. Kind of what I wanted to talk about, man.
Okay,
Like you said in the beginning, man. My fault, man.
you
I ain't
good?
mean to blur you out.
You
Like
good?
you said in the beginning, the fact that when you first did your first bid, the fact that was just a 2 year, and it was from my understanding, the way you looked at that and the way other people, in your situation would have looked at that, that was just really a continuation from the streets. That really was the next
Exactly.
level from the streets. And then you already knew going in that, you got a date and it's a short date. So you go through that, and now, like you said, you going to the big house. So I kind of want to get your frame of mind, man. Like when you first got there, man, pulling up to the big house, like you here for a long time, not a good time.
Exactly. Well, when I got there, uh, you some things you hear about, you might hear guys say, "Well, I got an uncle serving a life sentence," or "I got But when you actually there, you know what I'm saying, and you beside a guy that got 2, 3 life sentences, you understand what I'm saying? It, you start to see things different now. You
Yeah,
understand? And
yeah,
and and, and it's so crazy that people would think that these are the people who causing the ruckus in the prison systems, right?
right,
But it's actually the guys at that kind of time you wouldn't know until they verbally told you. You understand what I'm saying?
right,
They they mental frame is to try to get out. So they will be so calm. You understand what I'm saying? That you wouldn't even know, man. And and those are the guys that took me on their wings, and they say, "Look here, youngster, you got a long time to be here." From what the judge told you, you understand?
right.
So
Yeah,
you got a long time to be here. So, like I say, it's mentally starting to set in now. So what I did, man, I started I started studying law, man, and like I say, I was still young, so
Right.
I engaged in stuff that youngsters engaged in. You understand what I'm saying? You know, we a horseplay, or whatever, you know, just to keep our mind, try to keep our mind off being incarcerated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you.
So we engaged in those type of things, and there was times in there, man, where it was life and death situations where you had to. It's a thinking game. You understand?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, prison is a mental, it's a thinking game. You always have to be on your thinking game because you got some guys in there that done accept the fact that, you know, that's their home. I
Right.
never accepted that. I never accepted that. And after doing after doing 15 years, I was able to find a loophole. And this is the crazy thing. When you educate yourself, that can be harmful as well. As well as can be helpful. So
Right.
when I began to educate myself, I got my case overturned. And I never forget it. I got my case overturned, and it took the court about 5 months to rule, you know, on my case. But when I got back before the court, as I was telling you earlier, I only had 28 years.
Right.
28 years. When I went back before the court, the judge took my 28 year and gave me 40 years.
Mm.
40 years. So imagine going in there thinking that you're gonna get some relief.
Right.
You understand? And
Yeah.
you come out with more than you went in with.
Yeah.
But I didn't I didn't explode or none of that because, you know, at that time, like I say, I was mentally focused.
Right.
So I told the judge, I said, Your Honor, no disrespect, but you gonna see me again. You know, I'll be before you again to give you this 40 back, you know. And I was surrounded by some people who took the time out to help me get that 40 back. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes God will put you somewhere you don't want to be to get the blessing that you should receive. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sometimes you will be somewhere and you say, man, why am I here, man? I don't want to be here.
Right.
And and you right where you need to be to
Yeah.
receive your blessing. So 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 I received my blessing, man. And I went back before the court again, and I was given 30 years, still no relief. But I wanted to say that to get to this point, um, get to the prison ride point.
Right.
Okay, so now you got, I never forget it, no, December the 30th of 2019, prison ride. The prison ride started jumping up. Okay, so it had got so bad, and to, you know, not only the inmates but the officers. The officers fear for their life. Inmates fear for their life. No, nobody want to get hurt. But
Right.
people started recording what was going on and sending it to people on the outside, and it started getting to news channels. You understand?
Right. Yeah.
So
Do you remember?
so people always think that, man, if they locked up, they did something wrong. You know, they got to do what they got to do, or whatever happened got to happen. That that's not how it's supposed to be. We understand we make a mistake. We have to pay our debt to society, but don't treat me like no animal. You understand?
Exactly.
And guys, and the prison start getting exposure. So now the world looking at this. They
Right.
saying, hold up, this how they treating them guys in there? I know some guys in there made mistakes, but this how they really living?
Right.
So somebody got to act now. So now you putting pressure on these politicians, you putting pressure on the governor, you putting pressure on the superintendent, you putting pressure on the warden, you understand? You putting pressure on the commissioner because they was trying to cover all this up on actually how terrible this prison was and the living conditions. Now,
Exactly.
and for things to get better, sometimes it have to get to its worst.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that prison ride, a lot of people got hurt in that prison ride, but that prison ride opened a lot of people's eyes, man, and forced them to make change in that prison.
Right.
So my heart goes out to the people that got hurt during that prison ride, but it was something like that was needed to really expose the true living conditions and what people going through mentally as well as physical abuse in that prison system.
Right. Yeah.
So so now, as I was saying, I got the 40 and the 30. You
Right.
understand? So now these laws going before the governor. Uh Mr. Governor, you Tate Reed, these laws going before him, you gotta act now. Because the world watching. Not
Yeah.
only Mississippi, the world watching. They all the way up there in New York,
Yeah.
Times Square. The whole world watching. They broadcasting what's going on in Mississippi Department of Correction.
I remember. I
These,
remember that TV.
okay, and these the people working for the governor. So you got to act. So they
Yeah.
pushed the bill before Mr. Reed. They pushed the bill before Mr. Reed, and the bill stated that people convicted of violent crime, uh, such as like aggravated assault, robbery, uh, crimes that wasn't very high profile. You
Right.
understand? And they were saying that if these people done serve a sufficient amount of time, that they should be at least eligible to receive some type of parole. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not saying that they will be guaranteed to get this, but at least eligible.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, at least make them eligible to to review their paperwork to see if they meet the requirement.
Right.
Okay, so they put stipulations in there for people with life sentences. So that bill was kicked down. That bill was kicked down. So okay. So now another whole another year, right? We He said, I wanna pass the bill, but it's certain things that they asking for in the bill as far as the lifers. He said if y'all modify the bill more, maybe I give it more consideration.
Right.
So on the next bill, they excluded the part for the lifers. They excluded the part for the lifers. And in this bill, they said that once again, people convicted of violent crimes such as robbery, aggravated assault, manslaughter, once you have served a sufficient amount of time, that you will at least be eligible for parole. Okay, they pushed that bill before him. That bill was signed. He signed that bill, and at the time when he signed that bill, I had served 20, 23 years. At the time he served that bill, I had served 23 years. And that bill automatically made me eligible for parole. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, I want to stop right there and bag up. Uh, I don't know if I told you about my about the way that I really kind of like reach out to the youngsters, right? That come in, at my age,
Okay.
young,
All right.
because I could see me in them, right?
Right.
So when youngsters came in and they like, man, I got 20 years, I don't care nothing about it. I got 30 years, I don't care nothing about it. I'm gonna be here. Uh, those are the ones that I want to deal with. You understand? Those are the youngsters right there that I want to deal with. And I used to tell them, I just would tell my story to them. I'd be like, look, man, when I come here, I was 19. You understand? 10 years from now, you ain't gonna have the same mind frame.
Right.
You understand? You probably 19 now. At 29 years old, you ain't gonna have that same mind frame. You either gonna be worse or you gonna be better, but you ain't gonna have that same mind frame.
Right. They ain't be the same. Yeah, for sure.
No, it's not gonna be the same. And no, by me being able to relate to so many youngsters, and I had that gift now. I can relate to youngsters because, like I said, I went in young, so I know what you going through. You understand?
Right.
And I was able to really, man, reach out to a lot of youngsters, man, and I would tell them, I say, and if you gonna work on your case, I said, when you go before that judge, the judge don't want to hear how much time you done did. You understand? You have to
Right.
educate yourself. You have to educate yourself. When you go back in front of that judge, give him a reason to at least consider wanting to let you back out into society.
Right.
What have you accomplished? That's what I put before him. The judge gonna ask you, what have you accomplished? You can't go in front of the judge and say, Your Honor, well, I done did 15 years on a such and such, such and such. He don't care about that.
Right.
He need a reason to believe if he consider putting you back out in society that there won't be a mistake on his part.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Right.
the people looking and the people listening, well, Judge such and such let him out, and he went out there and killed 3 people.
Mm.
So give the judge a reason to want to at least consider letting you back out into society. So educate yourself. So I really motivate a lot of guys to want to get their GED. You understand? To want to sign up in educational program. And at the end of the day, they like, thank you, man. And I met a youngster. I never forget. I met a youngster. He had 45 years. He came into the prison. I said, how much time you got, young man? He said, I got 45 years. But as he would explain his case to me, I said, well, if everything you saying is true, then you going back home. But before you go before that judge, you need to have some more than how much time you did to present to that judge, man.
Right.
And I got him in school. He got his GED. You understand? He started tutoring, and he got his case overturned. He back in society.
That's what's up.
You understand that? He
Yeah.
back in society. He just need to sit down. Some people just need to sit down for a minute. Sometimes prison, you can take it as that, man, I need that sit down moment.
Right.
I need that moment to get my mind together. And even though, like I tell people, I did 23 and a half years, man, I needed that time to really prepare myself for now.
Right.
To really appreciate now. And I don't regret. Only thing I regret about my experience is losing my loved ones. You
Right.
understand? But that I don't regret that experience to mold me to be the person that I am now.
Right.
To so yeah. So I'm gonna let you add the flow. Anything else you wanna, you know,
I
ask me?
appreciate you, OG. I definitely appreciate you for sharing everything, man. Everything that you laid out, man. Like you said, man, like the fact that you wanted to be a mentor to the youth, man. You know, as you said, you coming in and you had positive people influencing you instead of negative. So the circle of life, you know what I mean? If it was the other way around, if it was negative people influencing you, you would have been that same to younger people. But, you know,
Exactly.
it worked out right. So you played it forward. So I definitely think that's a big part of, you know, of how you eventually, became who you are today. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Another thing that you touched on, man, that I kind of want to highlight, man, the fact that you kept fighting, even though, like you said, man, like you went up the first time thinking you could get it reduced, and you end up getting more, but you kept right on fighting, and that's all. That's something that I always encourage guys that that I happen to interview guys that's still on the inside, guys that's some on their way, and some of them already been, but they keep fighting. You know what I mean? Because laws change
Exactly.
every day.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I definitely want to touch on that, man. And yeah, man, everything that you said, man, everything you pretty much laid out the whole story, man. I definitely want to take time to shout out the homie Dolo the Truth for helping put this project together. And
Exactly.
from my understanding, he was one of your I won't necessarily say one of your pupils, but somebody that you definitely
That I
wrote.
mentor.
Yeah, that you mentored. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
So that,
Mentally,
yeah.
mentally as well as physically. I mentored him mentally as well as physically. And that's a real talented young man. And I pray every day, man, that God just touch the heart of the judicial system. You understand? Because we can make mistakes when we young, and some of them mistakes, man, cause we, like you say, gave him a life sentence. You understand?
Right.
But now, like I say, 10, 15 years later, you don't have that same mind frame. You
Right.
understand?
Right.
So I pray, man, cause he too talented. He just too man talented to be behind bars, man. He
Right.
he I feel like at this point in his life, he done paid the debt that he sincerely sorry for what he done, and I feel like, man, that he really deserved another chance, man.
I heard that. I heard that. I definitely agree with you, man. The conversations that me and him have, the short time that I've been knowing him, we definitely have build, a solid bond. So definitely shout
Exactly.
out to as well as my homeboy Shy White, man. Like I was telling you about,
Okay.
he's 16 down, 4 to the dope. If everything go as planned. So, OG, I definitely appreciate you for doing this for me, man. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up, man.
Okay. Okay.
Anytime you want to get back on this platform, man, any other message that you want to share, anytime, from here on out, man, we locked in. You got my number. If a story pop in your mind that you might have forgotten about, and you want somewhere to share that, hey, you come right here to do that. That's how we can rock this. So I
All right.
definitely appreciate you doing this for me, man. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up, man. Some
Anytime.
more to live for, the voice of the North, man. Why settle for less? My last name more. We
All
out.
right. We out.